can't take a full class obviously today. And these 2 days are anyway, the first 2 days of any IIM class are a way of introducing the course. So in fact, we said a few things last class. We'll actually do the full introduction in the third class when we know we have the right student population. Because as I said, many faces I saw last time are not there today. Many faces I see today, vice versa. In the next class, we'll have a shorter presentation, but we will have some discussion about the world of NGOs. And I'll take that time off. Following that, for the following, I think, 2 or 3 classes, we will have a few NGOs coming on the same day. So next class will be more, there'll be one NGO, but which won't take this long. But we will have a lot of time to actually lay the ground for the course. And then there will be 3 days where we will have intense NGO interactions, 2 or 3 on a given day. And you'll see the fabric of the whole world of NGOs unfolding in front of you. In fact, as you realize, it is a world. If you came to our last class, you realized it sounded very structured, very stratified, very simple, very straight, and you could weave strategies around it. When you came today, you got a very different picture. Where does entrepreneurship feature in all this? Can there be an entrepreneurship in this thing? You asked a very direct question, I liked it very much. Can this effort be sustained beyond you? The answer is mixed. Because there is so much passion, so much commitment. I even said, which I in her presence, that this movie, Bengali movie, I don't know whether there are any Bengalis here, apart from her. But are there any other? No, any. So there is this movie, and I don't know whether it has an English subtitle, Muktadhara, which was made, I think, about 4 years ago. It's on her life, yes.
Did you write the name of it?
Yes, so you can probably look up YouTube. I hope it has subtitles. But when you compare, you realize that it's not, and it's done by one of the best actresses of this part of the country. But the hero is a convict, a real-time convict. His name is Nigel. She was with her. He's probably still with her. And this guy was the hero of the movie. The lady who acted out her part is Rituparna. And Rituparna is probably the single most known heroine of what we call Tollywood, which is the Tollywood is the movies of this part of the country. But it's worthwhile looking at it. So you can immediately see, those who attended this session, that it's not the same thing. It's a movie, it's got song, dance, drama, this type of therapy, the real story. But what is missing is the passion. And that is what makes NGOs NGOs. The people who really do NGOs, there are several kinds of NGOs. One are NGOs who do it because people like this, who do it, as she said, from the heart. The basic difference between a corporate and an NGO, broadly speaking, is a corporate is an activity which is cerebral. It is primarily cerebral. You can bring your emotions into it. The world of NGOs starts with the heart. You can bring your mind into it. There are 2 different starting points. I remember Sneha asking me last time, she said that there were so many figures, so much of economics and statistics. Is this a prerequisite of the course? Sneha, I think coming today, you got your answer. Alright? But at the same time, there needs to be a meeting point of the mind and the heart. Last time we explored one thing. We said very clearly at the end of the class that if corporations want to thrive in countries like India, they will need to think about society. Today I will tell you at the end of this class that if organizations like hers have to thrive, there has to be an application of the mind. There has to be a way that the funding is there, There has to be a way that these organizations will have a succession plan. There has to be a way that even without attaining 100% of what she would have achieved or has achieved, some part of it carries on. Maybe 60%. But even that 60 is 60. You know? What is unique in an NGO is something you would have realized today, and you would not have realized necessarily in the last class. What is unique is the fact that this is a model. She said that in so many words. That these are the people going, you do not have another correctional home, another prison in India, which has been doing, well, the activities may be similar. There is learning from here, this is a case study. But the kind of commitment, dedication, teamwork, happiness that you saw here, that's not there. So it is something like a model. The problem with the NGO story is that it is extremely person dependent. So the challenge has to be, how do you make sure that the spirit continues even beyond the person? What she is doing, I'll tell you, I know her for many, many years. She's now in her mid-60s. So give her max another 20 years. She's very fit. She's been a dancer right from the age of 5. So I imagine this kind of activity level, if she lives very long, which I hope she will, another 20 years, beyond that point. This needs to be sustained. Future prisoners should not be deprived of this opportunity, this chance to reform, just because they didn't meet her in flesh and life, flesh and blood. So that answer has to be found. At the same time, as we found in the last class, we have to also, in the real world, in a world that is increasingly dominated by business, the realization has to come not just to an $8 billion conglomerate, but also to small and medium-sized businesses, that they need to do something for society. It's not just a demand from passion, it's a real life need. Because if you do not work for people, after all, I'm prone to saying, society can function theoretically without business. Business can never function without society. I don't do it anymore, but once upon a time, I was one of the principal teachers of our CSR course. And when CSR was a relatively new term, say about maybe 15 years ago, not a new term, but it's a relatively new concept in this part of the country, from IIM, we did a program together with the leading chamber of commerce in the city. And the concern even then was that there are a set of people, and I know the name Tata came up, I think you said it. You heard the story last time. So people who are billions of dollars, they will do it. Infosys has Sudha Murthy. There are people like that, they will do it anyway. It's good, it sounds nice, they are convinced, it builds corporate reputation. It is the small and mid-sized corporate that is not so sure whether the battle is about survival or whether it is about creating corporate reputation through doing something for community and society. Point is, it is those people who are not on the radar, who are not publicly listed, who still sometimes shy away, because publicly listed companies have the obligation of CSR. You heard that a little resonating today. But the others are still not obligated. If you are a private company or a partnership company, you don't have the same obligations as per law. We are one of the few countries where CSR legislation exists. That means you're bound to give that percentage of your money to CSR, which is a mixed move, because as Vijay said last time, they were doing more. Now they just comply with the regulation. So it's got a mixed effect. Regulation makes the people who did it spontaneously limit their effort. Regulation compels some unwilling guys to do it. Anyway, so you had two very, very good, real life stories. This is what I would like to say. That is our way of starting this course. Now, what I will say now is not what I will, will form part of the course for the balance sessions. What are the motivations for people to have NGOs? You had two classic ones. The one last time, because they worked through NGOs. You had one today, which is born out of passion. What are the not so classical reasons why people have NGOs? And with that we will close today. Because that's not really a matter of academic debate. But any idea? Yes? No, that we've done. I'm saying that part we have done. I'm asking you for the not so classical reasons why NGOs exist. Yes?
I guess the woman was here today, she just felt the need to do something for herself.
Yes. Okay. I'll leave this as a little homework for you. Think in your own minds. Because that is what we'll explore in the next class, the fabric of the world called NGOs. So there'll be a formal presentation I'll put in front of you, which will tell you all the right things. I want you to think of the not so right things. Yes?
The NGOs also wanted to keep the government in check.
Yes, it's true. That's true. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. But let's have a discussion on this to start with the world of NGOs. That is what we will talk about. The next session will be the role of NGOs in national development. And we will also have a case study. First I'll make a presentation. And in fact, we don't have time. I'll divide you into groups. Ramita will communicate the names once we have them of the groups. Do we have the final list? So therefore we cannot have a case presentation next class, but we will then tell you in the next class how we divide into groups and the mechanics of the course. In fact, I have not even finished the formal course outline. I did half of it, and in the next class, from next class, you have all the links I can open to whoever subscribes to. I hope you all signed, and thank you very much. I look forward to next month. Thanks.